Hello and welcome to painting this Dark Elf Supreme Sorceress. When the figure's been built and had a black primer applied to it, a zenithal highlight of grey is applied all over. After all the soft shadows have been identified, a bright white zenithal is applied from only one direction, usually where you think the main light is coming from. To make the shadows look less boring and give them some visual interest, applying a colour other than black from the opposite direction, like this green, will help. I have no camera skills, so I'll say I painted this off yellow all over the skin areas. With all the highlights and shadows put down, I used acrylic inks to paint the clothes and hair. Acrylic inks work the same way as speed paints, as they're very transparent, so when they dry, their vibrancy and colour changes depending on the colour that's been painted over, which can be easily seen right here. Inks unfortunately do have some drawbacks. Unlike acrylic paints, if you accidentally touch another surface, they will stain that surface instantly, requiring some repainting. The other issue is that they do act very much like washes, as they love to pool in all the areas you don't want them to. This requires you act quickly to wick away all the excess paint. For the accessories that were on the figure, I wanted to keep it quite simple. For this, I just used some lead belcher for the staff handle, and for the knife on the rear of the nape of her lower back, followed by using a gold paint on the overly excessive armour that is on her body. With a sorceress with this much armour, you know that she's going to be completely overpowered, as nothing will be able to penetrate the multiple layers of solid steel protecting her fragile flesh. So you know Space Marines are snowflakes with their full body armour. To create the glowing "you're gonna do what I tell you" eyes, the brightest white is applied to the eyeballs, then thinned down and applied to all the surrounding areas to create a slightly darker version of that white. Will help make the fluorescent paint look like it's actually glowing when applied. If it's applied in thin layers, will help in trying to maintain the bright white spot in the middle of the eyeball. You'll have to work out when you need to stop painting. To help define the shadows between the different materials on the figure, Agrax Earthshade was applied in all the creases. This was also applied over all of the metallic surfaces. As for the shading of the skin areas, a watered down version of Agrax Earthshade was applied all over the flesh. This is one of those processes that require you to act quickly. Before the shade has had time to dry, it's very important to remove all the excess pooling as fast as possible. Constantly drying the brush on a towel will help the brush absorb all of the wash. As you can see here in my little zoomed in image, the drier brush sucks up all the excess liquid. Again, preparation is key to this process, as I already have a damp cotton bud in waiting to rub off, or what I would call anti-dry brushing, the raised flat areas of the figure. As this method only helps in creating volume and shadows, dry brushing in the original base tone or brighter colour is still needed. This technique could be called a crude version of edge highlighting, but if it works, why bother going around all those edges with a brush? This isn't a competition piece, this is a shelf piece. When I'm finally happy with all the dry brushing, I will reapply all the edge highlighting on the metallic pieces, which you can see how to in my longer video, almost like I want you to watch how I painted the rest of this spider, because you know you want to know how I painted this spider, don't you? You're scared of it just as much as I am, but you're just gonna have to watch it. I know you are. But seriously, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Just remember, have fun. Watch my longer video and please subscribe.